Alright, you guys, I'm going live here on YouTube. Let me just open up the chat window here so I can get the questions ready. Let's pop open a live chat. Okay. Shut this down here. Alright, you guys, welcome to my channel on Premiere Gal. So I am Premiere Gal. You can also call me Kelsey, but I go by Premiere Gal on this channel. And on this channel, basically I make weekly video editing, production, tips and tricks videos, to help you guys learn. And a lot of the times it's what you guys want to learn. So I usually have polls or you guys send me suggestions on my website. And so I occasionally do a live video where I sort of review something live with you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And you will also be entered into a lottery. Hello, Michael from Australia. And hello, Waldir from Brazil. And hello from Paris. It's very nice to have you guys tuned in. And, you know, feel free to ask any questions. In this stream, I'm going over the essential sound panel in Premiere Pro. So I have Premiere Pro open right now. And as you see, I have a particular workspace. It's a little bit different because I moved the sequence to the top here. The project panel is still on the left, but I moved my effects and my effects controls down here in the center bottom. And on the right, I have the Essential Sound Panel. And if you don't have this open or you don't know what the Essential Sound Panel is, it's a new addition to Premiere Pro that used to be just in Audition. And it allows you to mix sound with ease. It's designed for the non-audio engineer to be able to edit sound, okay? And up here on Window, if you ever want to save a workspace, like for example, this is a custom workspace that I created, all you have to do is go to Workspaces and then go to Gal's, well, don't go to Gal's Audio Editing because I created that, but then you're going to go to Save as a new workspace, and I saved mine as Gal's Audio Editing. There's not a way that I know of exporting a workspace so somebody can import a workspace, but it's pretty easy to set up. And hello from Sweden. Nice to have you guys all over here from around the world. I think, isn't like Sweden just like that, there's like an awful vowel that's really hard to pronounce and it's like E. But anyway, I love learning different languages, so it'd be very interesting to do a little get together at some point at one of these conferences and have you guys teach me some languages. Anyway, I did do a live stream just on Facebook because I'm trying to hit both audiences. I find that some people just prefer Facebook and other people prefer YouTube. So I did this exact stream just on Facebook, answering questions and sort of going through Essential Sound Panel. So that's why. Basically, on this little overview here, I have, I'm going to go through dialogue, music, sound effects, and ambience, okay? So first we're going to start with dialogue. Now, prior to the stream, I recorded myself using my Editor's Keys microphone, and I had my big hard drive, it's called the Evo, running, and so it had this sort of loud background noise. So I'm going to show you how to clean that up and then enhance my vocal dialogue using the Essential Sound Panel. Okay? And hello to Pakistan. So let's see. So I'm going to play this back here, and you should be able to hear it. If you don't hear it, let me know, okay? And it's going to be very slight, okay? Unless you have really nice sound editing headphones on, or if you're here with me locally and listening to it, you won't be able to hear it, but it's a very slight background noise. I'm just going to play this. And I am recording some audio for the Essential Sound Panel. So, if I want to edit this at all, remove a little background hum, add an EQ, just select it, and then over here, you're going to select dialogue, okay? Now, you can select from various different presets. So they even have one for a balanced female voice. So if you just want to make a quick edit, you can just start from one of these presets, but I'm going to do a custom walkthrough, okay? Loudness. Now, do any of you guys know what LUFS stands for? Well, it is loudness units relative to full scale, okay? Now, basically what that is, the LUFS measurement, if I hit auto match, this is auto matching the loudness of this clip to be the LUFS standard. You can see here it's very tiny. It says -23 LUFS. This is the international broadcast standard for loudness for audio. So that way it's the same whenever you broadcast. The audio levels is not one really loud and one super low. Okay, so this is just a way to maintain that standard. But what's even better is that the Essential Sound panel, if you didn't know what that standard was, it tells you, and it does it for you depending on the audio type. This is dialogue, -23 is how it's supposed to be. But then again, you can always go back and go down and adjust the volume as well down here if you want to adjust the volume even further, quieter or louder. And somebody just said, how do you open the panel? So Sam, oh, you're back here, Sam. If you go up to Window and you go to Essential Sound, that will open up the Essential Sound panel. Okay, so if you came in a little bit late, I said that in the beginning, but no worries. It's just a panel that opens up and then you can drop it in any location in your workspace, okay? All right, so basically, the next step to editing this audio, right, is if you scroll down in the Essential Sound panel, you will see, let me just make it so you can see my scrubber there. There we go. So if I was going to apply reduce noise, what does this actually do? Do you guys know? If you reduce noise and you have your effects controls open, you can actually see that the adaptive noise reduction is applied. So that is a different type of noise reduction that you may know of in Adobe Audition. So Adobe Audition, you can actually use a visualizer to actually erase noise frequencies. So you can select a noise print and then delete that noise print across the entire clip. With adaptive noise is that as you're playing the audio track back, it finds the noise and then adaptively reduces it. Live stream, and this is quite noisy audio because so it's hard drive in the background, so this is it's a very slight hum and it's hard to hear until you just hear it at the end. It's just like that little bit at the end, and that's sort of throughout as I'm talking, so I really want to remove that. So you can change the strength of the reduce noise up a bit. Reduce rumble is like for mic rumble, let's say it's like sort of rumbling and like bumping. That is what it's for. It's essentially for mic rumbles. And de-hum is if you have an electrical sort of hum in the background, you can select that. And there's different hertz for different countries, for different hertz frequencies there. And then DS, let's say your audio is quite S-y, if you want to remove that. I tend to have a little bit of S going on, so I'll just select that on. Now for clarity, this is just enhancing the audio, and you know, adding an EQ is just saying, hey, I want these certain frequencies of my voice to be enhanced, right? And they have different presets. They have podcast voice, so if you're working on a podcast, they do that. They have the subtle boost, they have a male subtle boost and a female. And they also have that public radio sound, so if you really want to have a fun, cool effect, you can use that. I'm going to choose subtle female boost, and you can see that you can increase the amount that you want. And then you can also enhance the speech. I don't really like the effect that the enhanced speech does to my voice. I kind of sound a little bit robotic. Let me play it back without the enhanced speech so you guys can hear. Be entering all the names into a lottery following the live stream. And yeah, it would be pretty great if you guys ask any questions that you have about the Essential Sound panel. So now if I hit enhance speech, you'll see that it kind of sounds a little different, which I don't like. And I will also be giving away some Premiere Gal editing templates, which I sell. You see what I mean? It's kind of too over enhanced, right? So I usually don't like to have that. Now for dynamics, what this does, and I can show you right here, when I click on dynamics, a new effect will be applied. So if I scrub down here, you can see dynamics processing was applied, right? And dynamics will either make your audio more natural or more focused. So if I want it to be super focused, I would just pull the strength to a higher number. See how that sounds. Yeah, it would be pretty great if you guys ask any questions that you have about the Essential Sound panel, and I will also be giving away some Premiere. So you can see it, when I reduced it from focus to natural, it really brought the frequency of my voice very focused to the front, and it just depends on what effect you're going for. And down here, underneath all the enhancements, there's a creative tab where you can actually add a reverb, which is essentially like ambience, right? So for example, if I wanted to thicken my voice, if I wanted to make it sound like I was in an auditorium, you could do that. So if I select auditorium, and again, the 5 that it's set at is pretty intense. So I will play it and you will hear the difference. You can get 20 free tracks for free from it sounds like I'm in an auditorium, essentially. And you can reduce that if you don't want it to be quite intense. Music. I'll be entering all the names into a library following the live stream. And yeah, it would be... Isn't that cool? And so Abdullah Rahman just asked, how do you add reverb? Well, I just did. I just added reverb just now. I just added an auditorium reverb. But because this would normally be for, like, let's say a voiceover for a tutorial that I'm doing, I don't want the auditorium. I would probably want a warm voice effect. So if I hit warm voice, and again, for reverb, you have to be very slight. You don't want too much, especially if it's just for a normalization effect. You don't want the amount to be 8 because it's really going to make it sound funny. So if I play this back, so hopefully that this audio will be improved. That's the warm voice effect, but that doesn't really sound warm. That kind of just sounds like I'm in a tin can or something. So I'm actually going to just make the warm voice amount very slight. Probably only like 0.5, which you can type in. So improved after we apply some effects from the Essential Sound panel. So it sounds so much better. Also, if you guys ask a question, you can get... So that is dialogue, right? And again, at the top, it's auto match, loudness. And what this did was just made the loudness minus 23 LUFS, which is the broadcast standard. Now, if you want to increase the volume or lower the volume further, you can use the volume control in the bottom of the Essential Sound panel just by checking it, and then you can increase the decibels. And what this did is it just, if you go under effects controls, it just added a hard limiter, which is affecting the amplitude of the audio. So it's not actually increasing the volume controls, which are the standard volume controls up here. It's actually using a hard limiter effect. So, the playback comes out a bit distorted. Yes, it's actually just a live stream. I'm hearing it back sort of weird as well, but it could also be the effect that I applied. Let me just reduce the noise repair real quick. And dynamics, let's make it about 2. Again, as I wanted to stress before, as you go through these controls, it's really just an art form, and it really depends on the person's voice and how horrible the audio recording is. Typically, I don't like saying fix it in post, but a lot of times we end up having to fix a lot of stuff in post. But I say record it right, turn off the AC, make sure you're not next to a power line, like basic stuff, so that way you don't have such a headache to deal with inside of post. But this audio recording was pretty good. I recorded it on my condenser microphone. I ran my hard drive just so I got some extra noise so I can demonstrate with you guys. So yeah, that is, let me just try to play it back. I think it might be the live stream, but it was kind of like, well, I'll just try this. If it doesn't work, I actually had a huge problem. I was hoping that you guys would be able to hear the audio well, and I actually had to install a special software called iShowU on a Mac to be able to actually get you guys to hear what I'm hearing on my headphones as well as myself. So that was a little hurdle I had to get over. And yeah, so hopefully that this audio will be improved after we apply some effects from the... Yeah. So, yeah, can you copy over edits? Yes. So let me answer some questions here. First was Sam, do you have to do this to every clip or can you do this to the same track? The same sort of question was asked by Abdulrahman here. Can you copy over edit? So yes, you can. So let's say I have another clip here that's this noisy journey to New York. Let's say I wanted to apply the same effects I just made on this audio clip. So I'm going to right click, copy, and then I'm going to right click and paste attributes. And then I'm just going to paste all of the essential sound sections that I just applied to the previous clip and hit OK. And now all the effects I just applied on that clip are now on this clip. Okay, and you can see because of all the effects that are now in the effects controls. And you can select multiple clips at once and edit to multiple clips. You know, you don't have to just have one selected. You can have two selected at the same time in your timeline and apply effects to both of them at the same time. Okay, guys? And also, if you guys don't know how to add waveforms, if you're new to Premiere Pro, there is this tool icon, and let me just make sure that I have it open so you can see. Yes. So see this little tool icon here, guys? You can actually select Show Audio Waveforms to remove the waveforms, and then if you reselect it again, you can see the audio waveforms, okay? And to make the clips bigger, you can pull this layer up or down. And I like to have it big when I audio edit so I can see it. And then if I move this right here, you can actually make it big enough so you can see what you're looking at, okay? Cool. All right, so that is dialogue. And there's another really great plugin that I use to remove any sort of fan noise. And I use this literally on every project that I work on. And it's called Crumple Pop Audio Denoise. And I actually made a tutorial on this, and I will put it in a comment after the stream is over. But it is under effects, and it's called Crumple Pop Audio Denoise. And so you can actually drag and drop that onto a clip, and you can adjust in the effects controls the strength of that effect. Because if it's too high, remember, it'll start to take out frequencies of your vocal frequency. So it's trying to remove the sound as much as it can of that ugly background noise, but because of the nature of noise reduction, it has a problem where it sometimes affects your vocal frequencies. So under Edit here, with Crumple Pop Audio Denoise, I can actually reduce the strength to be lower to about 50, so that way it doesn't distort my audio frequency as much. So that is an alternative to using noise reduction, which is adaptive noise reduction. So if I turn off that, yeah, so hopefully that this audio will be improved after we apply some effects from the... So it definitely, I don't hear anything going on. It really made a difference. It's awesome. So there we go for dialogue here. Now let's say, and this is why the LUFS for loudness is so important. And let's say we wanted to add some music to this. So let's go back over here, and I use Audio Network Music on my channel. Have you guys heard of Audio Network Music? Oh, and I forgot to say, if you guys ask questions, you guys can win 20 free tracks to Foxy Music, foxymusic.com. I will just paste it here, the URL, or type it out. foxymusic.com, 20 free tracks if you ask a question. Also, I will be giving away a couple of my Premiere Pro editing templates that I've designed if you guys ask any questions. So I will pull names from a lottery hat after this is over, and I'll announce who the lucky winner is, okay? Let's see here. Which site has the greatest variety of audio plugins, for instance, converting dialogue into radio sound? So actually, Albert, for just asking this question, if you want to convert something into a radio effect, don't buy anything because the Essential Sound panel has it. For example, for this dialogue that I have here, so let me just clear audio type here and I'll show you from the beginning. If I select dialogue from the Essential Sound panel, you can actually select a preset here and they have from the radio. Like that is an actual preset. You don't have to buy a plugin for it. So if you go here and you want to actually
after we apply some effects,
look, I sound like
Essential Sound panel.
It's like an old radio.
Also, if you guys ask a question, you can get 20 free tracks for free.
So you can see that was from the radio preset. And you can also do from the telephone, which is super useful, right? Like if you are doing a film and somebody is supposed to sound like they're talking on the phone, right? And you don't know how to capture that noise on the set. Well, you can record it normally, and then inside of Premiere Pro, you can apply the from the telephone preset from the Essential Sound panel. So if I select that, now you can see it just added its own analyzation. And now
from Foxy Music, I'll be entering all the names into a lottery following the live stream. And yeah, it would be pretty great if you guys ask any questions.
So you'd probably want to reduce the volume a bit. So at the bottom, you can select level and reduce the volume. If you want it to sound like they're coming from a distant, you can also add a reverb, which is super fun. Let's go down to creative. This is where you can create a reverb. So if you check this box here on the right to activate it, check reverb. I don't want the auditorium, but let's say I want it to sound sort of more outside. We can try outside the club. And now, if I play it back.
And yeah, it would be pretty great if you guys ask any questions that you have about the Essential Sound panel.
And you can reduce this a bit. I just reduced the on the telephone preset.
After we apply some effects.
And you could see that it doesn't sound as telephony, so we probably want to keep that increased. And I think that it sounds pretty good. What do you guys think?
From the Essential Sound panel. Also, if you guys ask a question, you can...
And notice that the clarity here from Dynamics, if I pull this over so you guys can see it, Dynamics is completely focused for this effect, okay? And normally, if you want something to sound more real and natural, this would be more natural sounding. But because you're adding distortion to make it sound like it's on the phone, you want it to be super focused. And that's all in the preset. You don't have to worry about applying that. Another preset for dialogue, let's see, podcast voice. Let's go ahead and select that one. And let's see what it did.
And get 20 free tracks for free from Foxy Music. I'll be entering all the names into a lot.
So you can see that it now sounds more like a podcast voice. It's pretty amazing. But there's also plugins that I just showed earlier on the Crumple Pop audio denoise, and that allowed me to basically remove any fan noise to clean my audio. And that is from I forget the name of the company actually, but you can get it from FX Factory. They sell the plugins, and they have a lot of different audio plugins that you can buy if you're not achieving the effect that you want inside of Premiere Pro's Essential Sound panel. Okay? Thanks ZRX for keeping up the good work. I'm having a lot of fun with this channel, you guys, and I'm very excited for lots of cool things to come this fall. And of course, you know, you guys leave comments if you guys want any type of tutorials. I'm also starting to sell templates on my site. So if you want any type of templates, one that I'm working on right now in editing template is for Instagram and Snapchat videos. If you guys want to make your own Snapchat ads or Instagram ads, I'm working on templates for those. Somebody asks, Ronaldo, Lately, when I import my camera's clips to Premiere Pro, audio and video are not synced. Huh, that's weird. So in this video, I believe I have some cards up in the right-hand corner. There's one that's called Syncing Audio inside of Premiere Pro. You may want to check that out, Ronaldo, because I go over syncing tips that maybe will fix the problem that you're having. Somebody also asked on Twitter, what's the best audio setting for a speaker without a lapel mic? I think you meant for a camera without a lapel mic. So let's say that you're recording audio on camera and it doesn't sound great. Well, you would probably approach it the same way I did for the cleaning up the audio, first of all, by doing the noise reduction, which is under here. You would probably reduce the noise and apply the Crumple Pop Audio Denoise from Effects, which is a plugin that you have to buy separately, but using it in combination, it really helps fix it. And then you would probably add some clarity. Underneath the clarity section, you would probably add an EQ, enhance the speech a bit, but that's how I would approach if you were just using on camera. And let's see here. Yeah, Michelle, I'm super glad that I am gonna help you out with those templates. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to get working on those templates. I've already started them sort of briefly, but let me know if you guys want templates that come in like a pack, let's say like 3 different types of templates versus just one that you would play around with. I imagine that you guys would just prefer a pack of different styles, but I haven't done anything like that yet, but I'm thinking about moving towards doing like bundles of different types of templates. Cool. So let's go ahead to music. So let's say you have a music and you want to drag it in your timeline underneath your dialogue, and this is where mixing comes into play. So let me just scrub over here. So you can see I added my music underneath my dialogue, but when I play it back, the music probably sounds a little bit too loud. This is going to be used to demonstrate how the Essential Sound panel can be. So it's a little bit too loud, and this is where the Essential Sound panel comes in handy, especially if you need this to play on broadcast, because you can adjust the loudness level to broadcast standard. So go to music in the Essential Sound panel, and there's not as many parameters as dialogue, right? Like there was way more parameters, clarity, reduce noise. Here in music, literally all we have is loudness, duration, and volume. That's it. But you can apply reverbs to music as well using the sound effects and ambience tabs, which I'll go over in a bit. So let's go to preset here, and you can see that there's a balanced background music. Let's select that. And what this does is it just adjusts the loudness levels, so it's more like background music for dialogue. And it just takes a second. It says it's currently in progress. So what it just did is essentially just turn on loudness for the music broadcast standard. So right now it's -25 LUFS, which is loudness units relative to full scale. That's what it stands for. Now, Crumple Pop, yes, I know it's just for a Mac. It's crazy, you know, like FX Factory and the company that makes Crumple Pop, it's all for Mac, and I have no idea why. But yeah, I'm a Mac gal myself, so it worked out for me. But you can get other plugins for PCs. I believe Isotope RX, which is for advanced noise reduction. It's a bit more expensive. I think the standards is about $300, but that's super great for noise reduction, so I'd highly recommend that. But yeah, unfortunately, if you don't have a Mac, you can't use Crumple Pop. I found that out, I think, just a few weeks ago. Actually, I didn't actually know that it was just for a Mac. I usually just assume that like Mac is sort of odd and that it has like you can still use both for both different different systems. I find that Macs for live streaming, like the software is like way behind Windows. So if it makes you feel any better, Mac has some downsides, especially for live streaming. So let's say, let's play this back now, how the Essential Sound panel can be used to basically help remove. It sounds like this music with my voice right now, it's like some sort of like hotline or something. 20 free tracks for free from Foxy Music. So it sounds better. It's a little bit lower, but we can adjust it again using this volume control. If I select that on and go into effects controls, you can see that all that this did was add a hard limiter effect. And you're going to go down a bit. And decibels, dB, by the way, here, it stands for decibels, which is the loudness unit for adjusting volume. And let's just reduce that a bit more to -5. Entering all the names into a lottery following the live stream. And yeah, it would be pretty... Sounds better. All right, so the other type of sound effect that you can play around with a central sound panel is, let's say, like kind of screams, whooshes, like sound effects. I have this audio recording from Sam, who was on this live stream earlier. He sent it to me. It's a scream that he recorded for his horror film that he's making. It's called Ulk Lore, an Evil Tale. And he was kind enough to send this to me because he actually had a question about it. So I'm going to drag and drop this scream into my timeline here. I'm going to make it a bit larger here so you can see the waveform. There we go. So if I play this back, you can hear it. It's this no sound from a scream, right? And he recorded one channel hot and one channel low. And so if you want just the low channel, because you can see that it's peaking too much on the left channel, we can actually make it all on the right. So if you right click and go to audio channels, you can change this to be both on the right. So uncheck the left and check the right and hit OK. Now if we play it back, now it sounds better, but we can add some, you know, further adjustments. If you wanted to make this, if you wanted to give it sort of a heavy reverb under sound effects, you can check reverb and add a heavy reverb so it kind of has like an echoey effect. We'll play it back. Kind of like they're in a cave, and my music just started over. I'm just gonna delete this audio here, and then that way I just have this track here for you guys. So here's the scream. So again, if you're mixing this with Ambience, right, then you want to make sure that the loudness is good. It's at broadcast standard. So you hit auto match and it will change it to -21 LUFS. Now let's try a different reverb just to see what it sounds like. Let's try outside reverb. Now, maybe we don't like that and we want to go to... That's perfect for what we need. There we go. There you go. I just did your sound editing for you, Sam. Perfect. And again, it's called Ulk Lore, an Evil Tale. And Sam, if you want to put a link in the chat box to your film, go ahead and do that. Not a problem. I don't know if you can actually add links to the chat, but it should be no problem. And somebody said, so Abdullah Rahman, I mean, I have tutorials on my templates that I make. Like usually when I release a template, I will do either a live stream or a little brief tutorial on how to edit it. And actually, just by buying the template or getting one of my free templates, you can actually see how I piece the templates together. It's pretty easy to do. You just sort of nest sequences together and make it easy for people to just drag and drop in their own photos in different sequences. But it is an art form. Like I started making templates about a year ago, and I actually started learning how to make templates by buying other people's templates. And so that's how I started learning how to do it. Now, room reverb. Let's check out what room reverb does. Again, let's add a lot so we can really get an effect here. It kind of just sounds like they're in like a garage or, you know, kind of a smaller space, because if I was going to add let's say the heavy reverb at 9.9, it sounds more like a hollow space. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that you can't add links to live chat. That's okay. So let's say we wanted to clear this audio type and use dialogue instead, because it is coming from a female. It is dialogue technically, even though it's more like a sound effect, right? Well, you can apply some of these more vast presets. Like if you wanted the scream to be distant, you can say make distant. And what this will do is it'll actually apply a vocal presence EQ, and it applies an enhanced speech female automatically, which you can change, and it added a warm voice reverb. So let's play that back. It doesn't sound that far away to me. So what I would actually do is adjust the volume level to be lower. So it sounds okay. I think I would prefer the sound effect reverb. What do you guys say? But again, you are just playing around with all these parameters to really make fun, you know, audio effects for your films. And you don't really have to buy anything. It comes pre-packaged. Another thing about the Essential Sound panel, like let's say for the Scream, you wanted it to sound like it was coming from the television, you can apply that effect and we can see what happens. This doesn't really sound any different, so I don't know why there's that asterisk there. I need to ask Adobe what that means, but it didn't really sound... Oh, that's why. Let's clear audio type, go to dialogue. I want to see if it actually does something from the radio. The old radio, that's what... Oh, locked in the trunk. Let's try that. For the horror film, right? This is for a horror film. Oh, that's perfect. So, Sam, you can keyframe the effects. So if you go here, basically the EQ is just a graphic equalizer, right? So if I pull this over, so there's more space here, and I click on this arrow, I can now keyframe it. So if I wanted to add a keyframe here under individual parameters, I could adjust the different frequency bands. So if I wanted to have it start here and then move forward and adjust the decibel level, you can do that as well. So you can keyframe it over time. I don't think my computer is going to handle that well right now because it is live streaming. But yeah, to answer your question, it you can keyframe the different EQ bands. But again, you really have to have a good understanding of how these work, because you'd have to keyframe the individual ones. But you can keyframe the master gain if you want, just by clicking that toggle animation and then moving to a different point in time and then adjusting the decibel level. Okay? Cool. So yes, G Hush, yes, we can apply this to instrumental music. For example, if you wanted to add a reverb to music for some reason, you can certainly do that. So let's just delete this Scream. Goodbye Scream for now. And we're going to go back to Audio Network Music, which, by the way, is awesome because there's a panel in Adobe Premiere Pro to browse music using Audio Network Music. So that's what I use for most of my YouTube videos. I also use other music platforms, for example, Foxy Music, which I have a link in the description box below where you can get 15% off any track there. But also, if you ask questions in this live stream, I am going to be giving away 20 free tracks that you can choose. So ask away, guys. So let me just play this. So this is what it sounds like. And now we want to add, let's say, we can select dialogue here if we want to, even though it is music. Let's say we select dialogue and we want to make this audio sound like it's coming from the radio. You can certainly do that. So let's see how. So it just has that slight kind of radio reverb, right? Now let's see if we wanted to change this under creative. We want the music to sound like it's coming from a trunk. We can do that also. That's weird. My creative tab is not allowing me. There we go. Creative, come back. That's weird. Let me just clear audio type, guys. 1 second. Go to dialogue. And now, for some reason, my creative is not liking me right now. There we go. If I hit reverb and then select small dry room, auditorium, or church. Let's do a church effect. I just applied a reverb to music using the dialogue audio. Now, for in a trunk, we can add an EQ to this. Now it just sounds like the music is coming from kind of an enclosed space, right? Which kind of sounds kind of cool. I like it. And then there's also another option to make it sound like it's coming from an intercom. You can adjust the strength. Or we can do on the telephone. We can try that public radio. So there's no limit to how much you can do when it comes to different EQs on music. You can certainly do that. And lastly, I just want to cover ambience here. I have some store ambience that I got from motionarray.com. So here's a shopping mall. Let me just drag this up into my timeline here. Let me just close my source panel. If I play this back, ambience, right? Do you guys know what ambience is in general? Well, basically, it's just the sound of a place. So ambience can be as simple as the sound that you hear when I'm sitting just here in my room versus, let's say, I'm out in a noisy mall, okay? So what about making a question live? Malik, I'm not sure I understand your question. The question is live right now, right? Oh yeah, so let me show you. So G asked about saving presets once you've like made a bunch of changes and you want to actually save it. So for the shopping mall, for example, this is an ambient sound of what a shopping mall sounds like. It's kind of noisy. It's people walking around and talking. So first of all, let's say we apply this ambience. We want to auto match it so it's broadcast standard. We want to add a reverb to it and make it sound like more like room ambience and maybe lower that a bit. And now let's say that we play it back and we need, it's a little bit better. It's not as loud. We can maybe lower the level a bit. And now let's say that we wanted to save this. No problem. All you have to do is click on, let me move the window over so you see it. It's right next to preset custom. Just click on save settings as preset and you can save your own preset and call it ambience. And I'll just call it live from the live stream and hit OK. And now you have a preset here to use for ambience only. You can do this for each different type of audio type. And you can see now you can create different sorts of presets here and select from. So if you wanted this to be from outside, this is a preset. There we go. It sounds like you're really in a mall there. So again, if I wanted to, let's say we go back to my scream effect here, and you wanted to save the in the trunk sound. So let's say the scream, you go to dialogue and you want it to sound like make distant, and then you want to add an EQ of locked in the trunk, and you want to save this preset, certainly can. You just go right over to this arrow down button here and you want to save it as a preset. So if I play this back here, it sounds very quiet, so let me just boost that up a bit. It's like a distant scream locked in a trunk, right? Now, if I want to save this, you're just going to click on this button and you're going to say like distant trunk, and you can hit OK. And now every time you go to dialogue, distant trunk will be an option. So you can certainly save presets, and then you can apply those presets to multiple clips. So let's say you have multiple screams at the same time. Not at the same time, on the same layer, multiple screams. Rather than selecting each one, you can just select those new 3 ones that you had, and then you can go over and you can go to dialogue and select distant trunk. And now all 3 of them have the distant trunk effect on them, which is pretty cool. Alright, you guys, I'm trying to think if I had anything else. Just so you guys know, I have a Patreon page where people can leave me monthly tips. If you like what I'm doing, if you want to support my effort to continue making a robust channel where I give feedback and tips and tricks on how to make your video better, you can check it out. It's patreon.com/premiergal, and that would be certainly appreciated. And the other benefit about Patreon is that if you become a $5 donor, a super fan is what I call it, each month, you get free templates delivered to your inbox at the beginning of every month. So like it's just $5 and you can get like a couple different templates that I make each month. So I think it's definitely worth it, and I just wanted to call attention to it, guys. So thanks again for watching. It looks like also my Premiere Pro is about to crash, so it was like perfect timing for this to crash on me because I'm gonna end. So thanks again, guys, for watching. And I have some new videos queued up this week already. One on shared storage and pre-editing workflow. So I'm excited to publish that video this week. And Sam, it was great to connect with you, and thanks again for sharing your Scream audio to use in this live stream. All right, you guys, I will see you guys very soon. Bye.